And then, of course, there's still the mask theater. When can we lose them? Liberty lover and Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie asked that very question on Capitol Hill.
What is the message that we're trying to send the American people by wearing these stupid masks? Because all of Congress, by the way, cut line. Now, not everybody in here is vaccinated. It's true.
Does the gentleman wish to speak on the amendment?
I am speaking to the, yes, I am.
The gentleman is recognized for the purpose of speaking for the amendment.
I am asking why we have to wear a mask when the CDC says these are not necessary. Now we're in this committee projecting the image that you're going to have to wear the mask forever, even though everybody in this room has acquired immunity, either through a vaccine or through natural infection.
Joining me to discuss that very man, Kentucky Republican Congressman and House Judiciary Committee member Thomas Massie, making waves yesterday. How were you received by your Democrat colleagues on the Judiciary Committee?
Well, I had to call one of them out for talking without his mask on later on. The rules are so ridiculous they can't even comply themselves. And the other stupid thing is they have us sitting 3 seats apart, yet we fly here on airplanes shoulder to shoulder. I mean, it's all theater, Kennedy.
Well, it is, and as you have made the point, members of Congress, the vaccine has been made available to you guys, and many of you have also been sick. And we know that herd immunity is not just the number of people who've been vaccinated, but people who have been inoculated essentially through natural means, who have survived the infection and maybe have better immunity because they contracted COVID than people who've gotten the jab.
That's right. But see, that's the problem with what we're projecting here in Congress. All the congressmen went and very publicly got their jab in the arm and showed everybody that they got the vaccine before everybody else, by the way, in December. And now we're saying, oh, even though we're vaccinated and even though we're immune from other things, we're still going to wear these stupid masks. Why are we doing it? That's actually going to discourage people from getting the vaccine. But I don't know if you saw today, Kennedy, the CEO of Pfizer came out and said that now you might have to get the vaccine, a third vaccine, and then a vaccine every year. And if Fauci's saying, well, until everybody gets vaccinated, you're not going to take the masks off, what does it mean? Everybody has to get an annual vaccine now before we take the masks off? The only way we're going to get these masks off is if we take them off and throw them at the people who are saying you got to wear them.
Well, also, Anthony Fauci, he has to stay relevant. And the only way he stays relevant is if he continues to scare people, because he has not been following hard data. You know this, and he's even admitted that sometimes he fudges the numbers. Sometimes he makes up the upper threshold for herd immunity. Sometimes he says it's closer to 80 to 90% when really it's around 70%, and he does that to scare people. But that's not incredibly scientific, and I think that he has amassed so much power at this point, and anyone in that position, it's Shakespearean. They're not going to give it up easily and go gentle into that good night.
No, and that's why I'm a co-sponsor of the Fire Fauci Act, but with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, she's a doozy.
It would take his salary to zero. This is a great bill, though. It would take his salary to zero, and it would do an investigation or an audit of the activities he's directed at the NIAID, which I think needs to happen as well. But you're right. As soon as the virus goes away, or as soon as we declare it safe, then Dr. Fauci is no longer a household name, and he goes back into obscurity from whence he came. And so the sooner he does that, though, and we get on with our lives. Do you know, Kennedy, that Ron DeSantis banned Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx from coming to Florida and talking to any government employee there? When he told me that, I thought it was so awesome. I wish more governors had done that, because they were doing that while Trump was president. They were like sneaking around using the imprimatur of the federal government to convince the governors to kill their economies. And so thank goodness to Ron DeSantis for telling them stay out of Florida.
Yeah, and the numbers are essentially the same, and it continues to bear that out. You know, a couple things. If, God forbid, we are ever in this situation again, we have to realize that we cannot put power in the hands of so few. There have to be more doctors. And anyone who has gotten a second opinion for a serious medical condition, you realize that opinions in medicine can vary wildly. There's a pretty broad spectrum. It is not just one person, especially when their feelings are dictating their edicts. That's when it becomes incredibly dangerous, and I feel Jim Jordan's pain.
Let's get some doctors at the CDC and the NIAID who've seen patients in the last 20 years, right? And people should be talking to their personal physicians. By the way, don't listen to congressmen to get your health advice. We're terrible at balancing the budget. We would not be any better about health advice. And don't listen to Dr. Fauci. Don't listen to the CDC. They will lie too if they think it's in your best interest.
Hey, even when the CDC gives some sort of a moderate recommendation, like going from 6 feet of social distancing to 3, Congress doesn't even allow that. That was the objection that Congressman McClintock from California brought up. He said, you know, I'm not even on the dais. You don't make room for me. And Jerry Nadler was like, well, that's because we have to have 6 feet between us.
He's clearly not.
No, Jerry Nadler is not even 4 feet. Sorry, go ahead. Last word.
Yeah, and they flew there on airplanes shoulder to shoulder, not 3 feet, not 6 feet,
exactly.
But maybe 6 inches. And so that's why it's all theater. What's the message we're sending? You know, this is just ridiculous, Kennedy. We need to get back to normal, not a new normal.
Yes, we do. And people are capable of internalizing important advice, but not everything, just because it equates to control is important. Congressman Massie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kennedy.
Very good.